easy when you call her. Say my sister.
Oh, yeah, there you
We're
go.
hauling all the pottery and
And everyone
things.
wants one.
Okay.
You just don't work on it. And we always have it. And we had like 450 pottery.
What?
450.
Oh,
Where her friends were jewelers.
Mine isn't single yours.
Well, you didn't say 458 as well, so.
Ding,
So are you
ding.
working right now?
That's Tom.
I don't have a clock system. I have to go.
Are you just reading that?
You don't have a clock.
Treasure card.
Not on me. Like that one I'm looking at.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it was fine over there.
I know,
We had
good
to
over
move it.
Maybe it wasn't really the position
I
of the
have-
clock,
I have
maybe Emily
three
just gonna leave it
clocks.
alone.
Okay, just,
Rub it in.
Okay. You're reading great.
We had his.
And it's on the TVs.
it's on the TV?
Yeah, a little
Down
right
the bottom
corner.
right hand corner,
Oh, yeah.
and tiny, tiny, tiny.
Oh, now I see it. All right, sure.
Is the laptop plugged in?
What's that?
Is the laptop plugged in? It's super low on battery and I can't tell if the plugged in symbol's on the right.
You can see that?
It's got the charging symbol on it.
I couldn't tell if it was the charging
Okay.
symbol or the warning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Only goal is a little bit.
I only have one plug, so it's a relevant question.
I'll get the rearrange order anyway, because
And I
Barb's
probably
on
forgot
it.
everything.
Yeah, well, we'll skip over it.
Where their entourage.
Yeah, see what happens.
Maybe she,
Do it for him.
Yeah,
Do you want
Oh, we'll just do it whenever.
yeah. Okay.
all right. In Henry Roberts' absence, I will chair this meeting. It being 5 o'clock, I call the select board meeting to order on Thursday, the 19th of September, 2024. Are there changes and additions to the agenda?
Yep, the accounts payable for $389,652.52.
Okay,
That's it.
well, we're going to skip over the Boston Post Cane presentation, since Barbara isn't here. But maybe she'll show up. She wanted to come to the meeting for that. Tamworth Community Nurse Association with Julie Illinois and Maureen Diamond.
So, for the record, I'm Maureen Diamond, and I'm going to stand up. I'm here this evening, just so I can see you folks. I'm here this evening as a member of the TCNA Board of Directors, and with me is Julie Illinois, now in her second month as our Executive Director and Supervising Nurse. We have two goals tonight. The first is for Julie to introduce herself to you folks, and the second is for me to bring you up to date on some of our plans for the increased space that we have in the new building. So, Julie.
I'm Julie Illinois, I've met some of you already. I'm glad to know you. I don't know what more you'd like to know, but I'm here. It's week 6 or 7, I think, for me. And I'm happy to be at this meeting with you and just getting to know each of you and being part of Tamworth.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome indeed, we're very glad to have you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
So I'll go to the second point of discussion tonight, plans for the new building. TCNA is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to promote the physical, mental, and social well-being of all residents. And to this end, our mission statement includes a phrase, a promise that we will assist in coordinating access to other available service and resources beyond those that TCNA can provide. And we completed a survey in 2022 as part of a strategic plan that showed that Tamworth residents would like easier access to several services, and we've chosen to prioritize 3 of them. That's maternal health, mental health, and foot care. This was a major impetus, this survey and those findings, in going forward with plans for a new building with more space. We do not have any plans to compete with existing services in the town, in the area. We're opening conversations with providers who are licensed and or certified in the priority practice areas. Services would be offered by visiting health professionals, not by TCNA. TCNA would simply be providing the space. The health professionals will need to manage all of their services, from recruiting patients to providing services and keeping the best practices, and to billing for the services that they provide. We are seeking professionals who will accept Medicare, Medicaid, and other insurance, thus making their services more affordable to those we serve. So, cutting to the chase, what I need from you is permission to allow visiting health professionals to use space in our building. when the original lease was amended, we did not amend a clause that prohibits subleasing. We don't see this as a major source of revenue. That's not the point of it. It's simply, we will simply be looking to cover the costs, extra cleaning and things like that. But we know that we will need to have an agreement with any visiting health professionals to that effect. So we consulted our legal counsel, Andrew Dean, Cooper Cargill Chant. He had helped TCNA's side of the amendments of the original lease, so he's very familiar with it. Ultimately, the town council, Christine Johnston, suggested a one-year sublease, which is within the purview of the select board, and Dean agreed. Johnston drafted a letter, which I'm actually going to read to you just in the interest of transparency for others who are listening and attending the meeting. The letter is addressed to Leslie Johnson, who's our chair of the board of directors. And it says, pursuant to Tamworth Select Board's authority under RSA 41:11-A, Roman numeral 2, this letter shall serve as written consent on behalf of the lessor, which is the town under the lease, that lessee, TCNA, shall be permitted to sublease portions of the leased premises as defined in the lease as follows. First, the lessee may sublease portions of the leased premises only to visiting health professionals who meet or exceed the lessee's standards of professional licensure and or other professional credentialing and whose services will benefit Tamworth residents. Number 2, such visiting health professionals will adhere fully to the terms and conditions of the lease as it exists. Number 3, this letter and all subleases entered into pursuant to it shall be effective for a term of 1 year from the date of this letter, which is today's date, with the potential for additional 1-year renewal periods. The lessee shall submit a request for renewal to the lessor in writing at least 30 days before the end of the then current term. The lessor shall have full discretion to grant or deny any renewal. And then finally, point 4, subleases shall be limited to visiting health professionals, as outlined in this letter. All other subleases are prohibited without prior written consent of the lessor. So I thank you for your consideration of this, and I'm asking for a motion to sign the letter, which I believe is in your packets, and happy to take your questions
It's
either
in
now
there.
or
Signature.
after the motion.
So to be clear, Maureen, town council reviewed that document.
She prepared it, she drafted it.
Oh, she drafted it?
She drafted it.
Okay.
By stating visiting, is that meaning that there'll be no office visits here and that all the other professionals will be going out?
By calling them visiting health professionals, we are simply saying they're not part of our permanent staff, I think, when we use that
Okay.
term.
Okay.
They visit.
So they're
Tamworth.
right.
Yeah.
They're visiting to us.
Makes a lot more sense, because I'm like, why are they gonna be here then if they're not gonna, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Did you find it, Carl?
It's a phrase we came up with.
Oh.
I hope it works.
Okay.
You looking for a motion?
And I was looking for a date. It's dated September 16th. So is that an appropriate? Yeah, that's fine with me.
Are there any traffic concerns with the increasing?
Well, that's a good question, and I will say, first of all, that this is going to have a very, very slow output. There's no model for this. We know that one of our providers can't even start until next June. So it's not like there's going to be a big influx of either clients or professionals and vehicles. And that's also why we're focusing on 3 services and not the whole shebang that people expressed an interest in.
And some
So
of them
it-
might only be here like once a month, right?
That's what we
Like the
Yeah.
podiatrist.
Yeah.
would expect, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But might you have, if it were maternal health care, might you have like a weekly slot for that kind of provider?
it's
Potentially.
possible.
Yeah.
And that's the one that can't start till June. You know, it's a practice that already exists. There's a woman who is being certified and lives in Tamworth and would love to work in her community. That's a win-win as far as we're concerned, being able to have those services in town so that people can access them locally.
And so in the piece that you read, there was a section about the providers would have to meet or exceed the standard spectrum of care that you currently provide. So So how does that, so if it's a maternal health provider, does that mean that that person has to be connected to a bigger medical center?
So we would be, do you want me to answer?
Sure.
So we would be looking for credentials of people that are certified in their field, whatever that might be. You know, for example, so if we have a podiatrist, we want to have a board certified podiatrist. So we're looking at those kinds of, someone can't just say, I am a such and such provider and
Right.
become that for us. So we're looking at what the standard of care would be with the appropriate certification and licensure.
And I can use myself as an example. I'm retired, I'm no longer practicing, but I am a registered dietitian. There's a board of licensure for dietitians in the state. I would have to be licensed and I would have to pull their requirements, which are continuing education and so on.
So you vet all of that?
Yeah.
Good.
Make a motion that we approve the sublease amendment to our lease with Tamworth Community Nurse Association as presented.
Second.
Any other discussion?
So I say, I like the 1-year term, I think that's a great way to work into this, so.
Roll call vote. Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Who seconded?
I did.
I should
You want to take this with you? So.
I'll try to keep it easy.
Yep.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thanks for
Look
the,
forward to rolling
You
things out.
have a
Yeah.
copy of that once we sign it, before we send it off to Maureen?
I get it.
Oh, okay,
Let's-
all
let's-
right.
we
We
need a
don't,
copy.
I didn't know if they wanted to walk out the door with it. You
Do you
don't?
want to walk out the door with it? You may.
I mean,
I
there's a
don't
copy
have to
right
leave.
there.
Yeah, I don't have to leave, yeah. I'm
Okay.
sticking around,
Keats will get it to you.
yeah.
All right,
great.
Okay.
thank you for
Thanks
that.
for all that work, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Exciting transitions all
It's
around.
very exciting, yeah.
Next, we have the Town Line Perambulation with Paul King and Amy Carter.
So probably the last thing you'd ever like to hear about are perambulations, huh?
When I read that in the prep, I almost had a heart attack. And then I finished reading it and I came back.
So I've done basically all the lines, of course, you know, except for the Moltenborough, which somebody else did 10, 15 years ago. So they're supposed to be done every 7 years. No towns do it every 7 years, but they basically should be thought about getting going and doing it again. I think it was about 2 years ago, Keats kind of emailed me and asked me to kind of get some kind of schedule together, and I did respond, and I don't think I've adhered to that schedule at all. Been gone for 2 summers now and that kind of stuff, been plenty busy with other things. And then Amy Carter approached me with an idea that she had. So why don't you tell them about your thing?
Amy Carter's my name. I had a friend visit last summer from Switzerland, and they do something called a Bantag in the towns of Switzerland. Bantag, B-A-N is town, and Tag is boundary. So they walk the boundaries of their town every summer, and towns are very much smaller there, so it's quite a lot easier. And then they have a big potluck and music and a fun time. So I was saying to Paul, wouldn't it be fun to do a Bantag, a boundary walking, knowing how large our Tamworth boundaries are.
That's quite a.
It could take us
Or
10
bond.
years. But now, so that's where the idea of this came from, to do it in community with the other towns. Paul's been to the Madison Selectmen already to talk about doing this, and okay, so.
So, yeah, so I went to Madison, they're agreeable. The concept is I kind of organize the surveying aspects, Amy would organize the publicity, try to get a bunch of citizens from both towns and start walking the perimeter little by little. And it's my thought to start with the Madison line, particularly the southern part, which goes along Crossroad, and then it goes on the Tamworth side is Secocas Pines and Ski and Beach. On the Madison side is Cardin Bark. It's flat, it's well documented, it's easy. It'd be a good way just to kind of get started. It does involve a court case, but the court case was in 1909. And of course,
Way to bury the lead, Paul.
once the judge bangs his gavel down, that's it. It's never been disputed. It never will be disputed. It's pretty straightforward. So,
When do you want to do sandwich? Sorry, I couldn't help it.
so that's what we've got in mind. If you think that's a good way to do a perambulation, I wouldn't bill you because it's kind of be this community type of event.
So would you be doing your surveying as the group went along?
Yes, but I've already done it.
Oh, okay.
So I just need to kind of, check, saw
Document.
this again, saw
Yeah.
that again. No,
Okay, that would be a
And-
slow walk.
I would not in the southern section, which is all residential, but once you get north of Moore's Pond and all the way up to Albany, it would be a perfect opportunity for me to carry a gallon of paint and a brush.
Yeah.
And because at this point, the blazes have probably all grown over, so once you paint them at this point, that paint will be visible for 40, 50 years.
I think it's such a fun idea, and I'm
Very
happy to
cool.
volunteer the Bear Camp Center for all the parties that go with it.
Okay.
We'll host all the food after your walks.
It could take us how many years, did you think?
But we
Well,
have a party
how
after
many-
every section.
There you go.
How many
Okay.
miles around is it?
Well, the town is effectively 6 miles by 6 miles, so if you do 2 or 3, each line is going to take, 3 years at least. So yeah, that's going to add up.
Cool.
Yeah,
Some parts are steeper than others.
they are.
Black
This part we would start on would be flat.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Neat.
Fun.
Very cool.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, we're off and running.
Yeah, I'm gonna run it now. Next, we have a request to sell bottled spirits at the farmer's market.
And that's just me letting you know that it's been approved by town council, or said that we're allowed to do that. And so you just need to make a motion that they can sell bottled spirits
So my
on
only,
town property.
I mean, we've done that, I know the farmer's market has, the only thing I noticed in the note from council was that we, in making our decision, need to have proof that they are legally vetted by the state, so are we gonna have a copy of their liquor license on file?
It'll be contingent upon that, yeah.
Yeah, so as long as we have that in hand, I'm completely fine with it.
And
And this is
they're working.
under the purview of the farmer's market.
Farmer's
Yeah,
market.
it's just that it's on town property,
It's
that's
on-
why we
yeah.
have to approve it.
Yeah.
But like, we don't need to do it for when it's over there.
Right.
Right.
I make a motion that we approve the selling of bottled spirits at the farmer's market when it's on town property.
Contingent upon.
Contingent upon
liquor.
having the copy of their liquor license in hand in the town office.
Second.
Any discussion? No. Roll call vote. Bear, yes.
Schaefer, yes?
Prentice, yes.
Budget discussion and schedule.
Okay. So, I thought I would just update everybody on where we are. I sent a memo out to all department heads, commissions and committee heads with the following schedule. They've all received already a draft of the last year's budget that they can use as a worksheet. I will go over any budgets with anyone who wants to come into my office. So far, there has not been a stampede, shockingly. What else? We will be setting the wage increase for town employees. I put it 910 to 924. We actually can do that at the end of the year. The CPI right now is at 3.02%. It's going down.
Yeah.
Municipal cost index is about 1.92. That's not really reflective of how people will purchase, so I think CPI is better.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's one of the things that we'll be discussing, obviously. For the last 2 weeks of September, I'm hoping I'll get a draft of the capital improvement plan. I have not, it's a little bit like working in the dark, because that's a big chunk of the I just have no idea what it is. I haven't been able to get it yet.
And you can't get a draft of it?
They had a draft they were
Well,
working from.
I will ask again. So that's that.
Is there anything we can do to help facilitate getting a draft?
Maybe, I'll see, I'll try, yeah, possibly. Let's see, so we're going to weekly meetings in October and November. They'll be at 6 o'clock in October and 5 o'clock in November. Department heads will meet with the select board to review budgets. I will start scheduling those in the next couple of weeks with each department head.
And we should, well, we've already made the point, but we'd really like the public to attend.
Yeah, and I don't know, yeah, I think that those who find it to be an engaging and important process should join in the conversation.
Right.
The tax rate is usually set in early November. We'll be working on the town report in early November. In December, I'm reminding all department heads, so please go out and buy your capital items before the end of the year, because encumbrance is a little bit of a pain in the neck. Better to get your money spent if you have an item you need that's appropriated. And then I'll work on encumbrances, because I'm sure there'll be some. January, we will finalize the 2025 budget. I will check in with all the department heads for final updates, tweak changes on the year-end CPI for the salaries, and we'll finalize the town report. In February, petition articles are due on February 4th, which is the first Tuesday of the month, so any nonprofit that wants funding next year, that would be the date. Get it to me sooner. There's also an application you actually should get me by November, I think it's 7th, but I'm not sure. You and I can talk about that. It's not complicated.
But it'll be different from last year. So if you're relying on the old files from last year, it's gonna be a new thing.
Okay.
It's revised. So all department heads and select board members should save the date for Wednesday, February 5th as our budget hearing. It's the day after all the petition articles are due. And the second budget hearing, if we need one, which we schedule in advance, is Friday, February 7th. The 24th is the last day to post the warrant and the budget, and town meeting will be, I will distribute the town reports on March 1st, and Wednesday, March 12th is town meeting.
We're gonna move the budget hearing to the back, keep it at the library.
I thought that was a better space, what do you think?
I think the acoustics are a lot better and the sight lines are a lot better.
Yeah.
Our videographer is nodding his head. The acoustics.
Videographer, is that what I am? Good spot.
And so, so there's elections on March, I guess it's the 11th, and then Tuesday the 11th, and then the town meeting is Wednesday the 12th. So that's kind of the timeline for it.
Yeah.
I have, not really a draft because I have no input from the department heads yet, and I don't have the CIP.
Right.
But there are a few significant things that are off the budget. For instance, we're not raising more money for the transfer station this year. That was a 3-year.
Right.
There's a bunch of good items that are off, so it gives us a little more breathing room, I hope. We'll see, once I see the CIP.
To Carl's point, I think that when the department head schedule is fixed up with everyone, that's when we really make the push to remind the public that the most useful time for input and engagement is during that process rather than waiting for the hearing when things are set.
Yeah.
And hearing's time for catching little bits, not for quibbling over decisions.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, good.
Any questions? It's all
No, it's great.
clear?
Keeks,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, may I ask you to repeat the dates for warrant articles, stuff?
Petition articles
Listen
are
very well.
due February 4th. It's always the first Tuesday of February. Warrant articles, I'll probably be writing most of them in December. Mostly.
Okay, excellent. And next, we will discuss ARPA funds.
Favorite topic. I'm just gonna talk you all through, you all know this,
Yeah.
but just for everybody hearing it. The original, where did I put my pen? Where did I put my other folder? It's on my desk. Currently, we have $124,096 remaining. We have earned $12,695 over the last, I guess, almost 3 years.
3 years,
since the market- yeah. And according to RSA 31:95-B, we can accept these funds as unanticipated funds. And guidance is best practice is that we spend that interest earned on things that ARPA is already being spent on. Rather than, for example, putting it back in the unassigned fund balance or
Right.
whatever. So the first order of business is for you all to accept those unanticipated funds. And there's a motion here, if you would like to look at that. It's the bolded middle of the page sentence.
I motion to accept all earned interest on ARPA funds earned to date and in the future period before the funds are entirely spent as unanticipated funds under RSA 31:95B.
Second.
Roll call vote. Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Francis, yes.
Okay, can I have that? That's it. Then the next order of business is to decide how to spend that $124,000. As you know, it needs to be obligated by the end of 2024 and completely spent by the end of 2026. There are so many things one could spend it on. I sort of shared with you a couple of criteria. One is to vote on things that will lessen the tax burden in 2025. And another is to vote on items that are easy to get under contract by the end of 2024, so that we're just kind of clearing the decks. And so, having, none of this is new to any of you. We've been talking about this for a long time.
Long time.
I think where the dust has settled on that, given based on those two criteria, would be a new truck for the highway department, and the old truck then would be handed over to the maintenance department, which is long overdue. Rick is
Yeah,
using his
Rick,
truck.
yeah.
Another item that has really been a major thing for the transfer station folks is a second compactor. And that is, the truck is, we're gonna put a price of $70,000, it will be somewhere in that range probably, maybe a little less. The compactor was priced out when Glenn was in the role. He had actually put it on the CIP and then he took it off. Not sure why, but so at that time it was estimated at $40,000. Let's assume it's $45,000. And that was a very sought out item for the transfer station. Then we have a list of basic equipment that the transfer station should have but doesn't. The total comes to $5,600, and I'll just read through the list. It's a commercial grade snow blower. There is a sort of more residential version of it. It's just insufficient, and that could be traded in. That's about $3,000. A 50-gallon fuel cell. Glenn used to have one. It was his personal item, and he took it with him, understandably, when he left. So they've been like carrying 5-gallon tanks. This is a 50-gallon cell, and it would be about $1,000. DeWalt cordless tool set for $400, a crowbar for $50, a sledgehammer for $50, brooms, rakes, shovels, snow scoops around $300, a socket set for $200, screwdriver set for $200, jump pack battery charger for $250, miscellaneous hardware for containers $50, and last but not least, a portable heater for $100. And that all comes to about $5,600. And they would feel, I think, safer and better equipped to handle all the things that come along.
Yeah, than having to use their own tools for a lot of it.
They've been using their own tools, or they have to drive down to the highway department for some minor fix. It's sort of not efficient. That would leave us, the three items I just listed is about $120,000, $121,000, and that leaves $16,000, which we can just hang on to for the next few weeks till we sort of figure out whatever, whatever is done. So that's that. So in order to spend this money, you all would authorize, maybe, I don't know if it's a motion for each item or a motion,
We can do it collectively.
okay?
Yeah,
So,
I make a motion that we use part of the remaining ARPA funds for the following. A new truck for the highway department, allowing the old truck to be handed to maintenance, approximately $7,000, appropriate $70,000. A compactor for the transfer station, appropriating $45,000 from ARPA, and basic collection of tools, including a snow blower, fuel cell, etc., at approximately $5,600.
Second.
roll call vote. Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
okay,
Excellent.
Now, one of the things we talked about was a ground level compactor in addition to replacement of our legacy compactor at the transfer station. Would that need to go in on the CIP?
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't know there was a difference.
Yeah, ideally we'd like to go to two.
I do not know much about compactors.
Well,
This was a second one,
this
not a
is
replacement.
not a replacement, the one we just voted on.
So
It's
could
in
we-
addition to.
Ground
yeah,
level.
this is the ground level,
The
then we
ground
got
level.
quoted at 45,
Yes.
because I thought Glenn last year had the 40,000 replacement for our,
Well, I don't know.
okay.
Well, okay, we have to. So the
So
one
you're
that,
saying
the
that
one
it'd
that we're
be
currently
different-
using, maybe the 40,000 number that Glenn had was to replace that.
That is my understanding, to replace our current compactor.
And what we were just discussing was getting a second one to put at ground level. So I don't know what
Is
the
it a
price.
different size, different
Oh,
piece of
yeah.
machinery?
Different machine.
It's a different.
Okay,
We have two things, we have an aging, very old rather.
We do, I mean, it came with the.
Single compactor, but it's still working.
Yeah.
And then we want to expand to have a second ground level compactor.
why don't we leave the motion as is? We can do the, I didn't know there was a difference, so we can talk to, unless you have another suggestion.
No, I just would like to have both on the list for 25, is replacing our current compactor and
Well, we could,
looking
we
at
should,
adding.
the ground level.
okay. Not sure which one we,
Well, without seeing CIP, we,
yeah,
well, let's just leave it. If we have to adjust it the next meeting, we'll adjust it the next meeting.
Okay,
yeah, let's find
Okay.
out.
I'm good.
Because then maybe we'll have CIP to know. Have you been asking Jack for this or Kathy?
Kathy?
Kathy Paget, yeah. What do you think? I would think the ground level one might be cheaper, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, we'll find out.
I thought it was another equivalent that would go next to the existing one.
No, they're two different compactors. One has to have a grade differential. And, I think that the ground level is probably gonna be more expensive because there's more structure and it's
Oh,
not just a ram pushing into a compactor itself, but
yeah,
we need to look at
We
prices
need
for
to
both
find
anyway,
out.
so.
yeah. And whichever one, well, we definitely could put the replacement in CIP.
Yep.
Replace our old one.
I guess that's part of my question, which is better to use
Yeah.
the ARPA funds for?
Exactly. I'm not sure yet till we find out pricing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Keith, well, should I have Brian start looking into pricing on that?
Sure.
So Sandwich has 4 compactors I just found out today. Are they all the same? Because of the way their transfer station's set up, they're not a different one?
I haven't
been to theirs.
I haven't been to Sandwich.
Is it all ground level, or do they throw it
No
down?
idea. That's what I was
Oh,
asking.
okay.
I would say the standard
No.
is to have a grade differential compactor. That's what most transfer stations I've been to have. And then the option is at ground level as well, obviously. But they're not so much, I haven't seen them so much at transfer stations that I've visited, more other sites where you don't have a grade differential.
Yeah.
But they're come highly recommended from
Mhm.
everyone I've talked to.
Does our compactor have a heating system somehow to keep like hydraulic fluids moving in the winter?
I don't believe so. I don't think there's any kind of heat pump to keep the fluids.
Yeah.
They shouldn't freeze,
Yeah.
but they certainly do need to get warmed up.
That was just another thing I found about Sandwich.
Okay.
The heating costs
They have a thermolator,
they're big for them, yeah.
interesting,
So you're gonna follow up with Brian?
right now, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go on to old business with the Traffic Safety Committee, Page Hill Road Safety Study, Brian Forcier.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for sticking with it.
Thanks. The committee has deliberated and reviewed, revised and submitted a completed traffic safety investigation for Page Hill Road. We believe we have a process for other Class 5 roads within town jurisdiction, and we can make changes as the focus of our committee warrants. Also, I'm here to submit our recommendation to change the speed limit back to 25 miles an hour on that particular road.
Has everybody had a chance to look
Yeah.
over it?
I just have one question, Brian.
Yes,
It's
that's
a
fine.
process question, not a data question. Why did you go with consultant from the Central New Hampshire LRPC or PC rather than LRPC?
He was immediately available,
Okay.
and the work had begun prior to the formation of the committee, when this was a private citizens group. Instead of starting from scratch, we felt that it was a good basis to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had already been, the private citizen group had
Yeah,
already
we
been
would
working
love
with
to
them?
engage the LRPC. In fact, that's our local planning commission,
Yeah.
and it's definitely in our future plans to engage. At this time, I'm not sure who
They
to contact.
just hired a new transportation person who started last week.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was our problem going forward with the
Right.
LRPC. So,
Okay, I just was wondering about that, and I
That's-
didn't know if it was because
no, it was in
they
the
were without a
vacuum of not having the
transportation.
resources.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, okay. The data looks good, process looks good to me. 2 professionals were engaged, which seems to meet the requirements from statute. And the proposal has been submitted.
I think the RSA required Chief Cleo sign off, which we have, right, so,
Chief,
Chief Law Enforcement Officer sign
Yeah.
off, which we have.
that's it, that's
What did you say, Clea?
Cleo, Chief Law Enforcement Officer.
Yep,
Must be a military man.
What? I like acronyms, that's all.
Okay, all right. I motion to
that's
approve
not
the
my
traffic.
doing,
I motion to approve the Traffic Safety Committee's recommendation to accept the traffic safety investigation for Page Hill speed issues as presented and per RSA 265:63 to reduce the speed on Page Hill to 25 miles per hour.
Second,
Any more discussion?
Did Prentice second?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you're
I
messing
beat
with my
him to the
head.
punch.
need a longer pause.
Holy cow. Roll call vote. Bear, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
All right. We've done it.
Thanks for all the work.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So,
Thank you.
Page Hill aside, you just in passing said that you now have a process that you think can be used, it's replicable,
Yes.
okay?
Excellent.
We're seeking public input for focus in that regard. We are also reviewing the stuff from the 16 corridor and looking at options for roads where our jurisdiction overlaps.
Okay,
And there are some things we can do, and we're going to identify those and present those to the board as well.
okay. And I'll just remind you, I'm meeting with Linda Medeiros next week just to transfer the information and the contacts that I've already
Great.
got on the, especially on the Page Hill safety aspect, 113 and the Route 16 corridor. But I'll just reiterate that before we switch into other modes of potential safety, speed, community concern, the mission of this committee is really to tackle what we presented first. So I would think that it would be appropriate that the committee that now shifts gears, Page Hill is one of the initial pieces of the puzzle, and then the 113 Page Hill safety and the 16 corridor are the next pieces to tackle. Once the committees come to some, whatever you can come up with from that research, if the committee still has will and energy to keep going, I think that then it's appropriate to say, what else do we need to look at in town? But I think that it's a slippery slope if we just start saying, pick my road next because people are speeding on my road, because
Exactly.
people are speeding everywhere. And the committee, we really wanted the safety issues to be concerned with first around this area that's been on people's radar for a long, long time.
Right.
So,
And we were trying to figure out how to continue the work that's already been done. In fact, at our last meeting, we had a member of the public, John, show up and he continued his work with Alex and
great,
Bishop
oh,
Warwick and
fantastic,
Service.
yeah.
So we're going to see where the overlap is and how we can combine efforts.
That's great, and John Gotchen is a member of the Transportation Advisory Committee for LRPC and has been for years, so he's a spectacular resource as well as a Tacoma resident, so he knows the ins and outs of how to deal with
Yep.
the minutia of this process. Yeah,
We're ready to go.
great,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much for taking this on.
Get Richard on that.
I think we already have the signs now.
Yeah, we have the signs. We'll just
Okay.
Richard, driving back in.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, have a good
Mr.
night.
Chairman,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Permitted? How would this affect the GPS system, the mapping systems?
Well, that's what one of our, sorry.
No, because I'm assuming that when somebody plugs it in, usually your car tells you how fast you're supposed to go down.
Right,
And how will that change be coordinated? Because I don't see the connection, I don't know how this vote connects the change the GPS has to.
I don't know that
Do you know the answers I ask? I mean, I think they're collecting data constantly.
Yeah.
The GPS, the people who feed the maps, the GPS people, are constantly,
Updating.
gaining data, and this will show up. I mean, really just by posting the signs, it'll probably show up, but it'll show up on people,
Exactly how that process takes place again is like through Google Maps and iMaps, that sort of thing is proprietary. We're not exactly sure how it works, but this is the first step to making it happen.
Because I would assume that when you're set in motion what route it's going to choose.
Yeah.
If you've now reduced the speed, that may not be the best,
Right.
shortest route that it will pick, and I don't know how that's done.
It's already not routing over Page Hill Road. If you look at Google Maps for a while now, the road is much thinner, which I know might sound weird on the western side. And every time I've tried it, many times from different locations, it always routes you
113.
down 113.
Oh, that's good.
And I believe Chief Littlefield had mentioned that he'd been in contact with agencies to update those things and try to route traffic around. So I believe that the mapping issue has been resolved, at least in all my tests it has.
So that would tell me that all these people that are speeding are local people then.
Or at least not following.
Well,
There's a lot of
Depends when the map
there's
was
a lot of
adjusted.
commuters,
I
people
think-
know this as a shortcut, that's part of the problem we're trying to tackle.
Right.
So, it's to affect driver behavior, and simply reducing the speed limit, in this particular case, and according to the study, has proven to be effective. Yeah.
Thank you for taking my question.
May I ask, and I'm embarrassed if it's on the town webpage and I didn't see it, is the traffic report available for the public?
The report itself hasn't been posted,
Okay.
but our committee is public, and the public's invited to our meetings, which are posted, and our meeting agendas and minutes will be on the town website as well.
So then the report should get posted with your
If
minutes,
that's-
I think.
If that's the
That would
board's
be
decision, we'll
appropriate,
certainly do that, yeah.
I can give you mine for now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The contributors have given us permission to disseminate the information, and we're happy to do so.
Great, yeah.
I mean, and that's something to consider going forward, that when you, especially since you're giving it to us to use as the basis for our vote, then that should be part of the public record. So that would be turned in to the Becky for your minute posting too.
Sure.
Yeah,
We haven't done it yet because I did a quick search and didn't find any of these online from other towns, which is
yeah,
telling. The only one I actually found from an official source was Gilmanton had done a town-wide study where they had multiple motor vehicle detection units placed in town, and they did a town-wide study. That whole report from LRPC was posted, but I didn't find a single other one from other towns. So I, went with standard practice as of yet, but if you'd like to post them, there's certainly,
Yeah.
yeah, no problem.
I mean, I don't
We'll
know-
be the trendsetter.
I don't know about the letters of support for the
Yeah,
project
no, the
as
study
being.
itself and the underlying data,
Yeah, I think that, exactly,
okay,
yep.
You're welcome to come in and sit
Come on
down.
in. Thank you again, Brian.
absolutely, thank you guys.
Maybe Barbara thought the meeting was at 6.
6,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
Are you friends of Barbara's?
Yes.
Oh, she probably thought the meeting was at
She
6.
must have, yeah.
We'll be here. All right, good, that's done. Administrator report.
The bank balance is $4,293,184. I have been working on, transfer station has gobbled up a lot of my time this week. The town administrator position is posted on New Hampshire's Municipal Association website, on our website, and it is in the Conway Daily Sun newspaper.
Is there a deadline for that? Did we set one? I don't remember.
I did 3 weeks, I'm trying to remember, I can't remember the days off the top of my head. It's not posted, in the newspaper ad, I did not put a date, but they can go to the website.
Yeah.
Let's see, we've been taking resumes for the transfer station and for the highway department, so it's been busy in that regard. Budgeting, working with department heads, all things going on.
All right. Thank you. We will go on to the signature. I move to accept the meeting minutes from September 5th, 2024.
Second.
Oh, you have all these.
Roll call vote. Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
I move to accept the non-public meeting minutes, September 5th, 2024, under RSA 91-A:32A, Session 1, and RSA 91-A:32A, Session 2.
Second.
Roll call vote. Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
We did the TCNA sublease agreement. I move to approve the Veterans Tax Credit application for map 410, lot 114, and for map 218, lot 99.
Second.
Roll call vote. Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
I move to accept the abatement, approve the abatement for map 217, lot 46, in the amount of $2,160.
Second.
Roll call vote. Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
I move to approve payroll in the amount of $44,791.03.
Second.
Roll call vote. Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
I move to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $389,652.24.
Second.
There's a sticky on your,
Yeah, on this, I saw it. $306,000 for the school, $20,000 for TCNA, $19,000 for NHRS, and $16,000 for hauling from the transfer station. Cash used to date, $7,547,826.14. Select board update.
Let's start at this end of the table for once.
Yeah, why don't we start with Leanne Prentice while I,
Let's shake it up. What you've been doing. So Lakes Region Planning Commission is back in season. We had our first exec board meeting last week, and the first commissioners meeting is Monday, the 23rd, in Guilford. And the topic there is brownfields reclamation. The commissioner meetings are one Monday a month, September, October, and November, and then March, April, May, and June. And the reason I say that is because Tamworth, this has to be appointed officially by the planning board, but because we have a viewing audience for the select board meetings, I'll say that Tamworth needs a commissioner, either a full-time commissioner who would commit to going to those 7 meetings a year, or a alternate commissioner who would be available on call at the drop of a hat to fill in. Right now, the commissioners are Richard Doucette and me. Wyatt Barrier's been an alternate for years, and we want to thank him for playing that role. He's needing to step down. So if anybody's interested in being commissioner, really the responsibility is to go to those 7 meetings a year. Each meeting has a theme that's around community development or land use somehow. Everything from economic development to brownfield reclamation, affordable housing, was septic and water. And it sounds kind of dry, but it's actually pretty interesting. They bring in experts, and you get to hear what other towns are doing, and you get to engage with the experts to talk about your own town's issues. The meetings are 6 to 8 o'clock. They're in different towns around the commission district. So I think the farthest one away this year might be Belmont. So it's a little bit of a drive, but we can carpool. So if you're interested in learning more, people can reach out and ask me, and I'll fill you in. And then the only other thing I've been working on, we have planning board next week, is the property donation work for the environmental site assessment for Tamworth Road. And we have a meeting on that next week too, which should be great to get the actual assessment started.
yeah, I saw somebody there
Yeah,
doing the work.
Awesome.
thanks for letting me go first.
Should be back to Carl, just
I
to
know.
really mess it up. Most of mine's all been transfer station back and forth. Been on several of the emails, but just trying to keep that project rolling along, as well as other logistics for running the transfer station. Been working with Brian, who's excited about the compactor, so he's
Yeah.
already off and running working on that. That's about my update.
Okay,
It's a good update.
well, the only meeting I went to was Memorial Library Board of Trustees. As usual, I'll look at their September newsletter to see all their great programming. And let's see, they always give a wish list to the Friends of the Cook Library during the budget season. So they worked on that, and they had an updated estimate for installing the energy recovery ventilators for the HVA system. They had a grant for $15,000 received, and they went back to the contractor, and he's asking for an extra $6,000. So they're having to cough that up.
Does the grant have a deadline?
I can't remember, but she has that well in hand. She's good with this stuff. I think she's going to ask the Tamworth Foundation if they can. She's putting in a request for $5,000 from them. Let's see. The locust tree in front of the library has been stabilized. I think it was splitting apart so that you don't have to worry about getting hit by a falling locust tree. The mowing service that does the grass out and back there. A while ago, it sent a rock right through the window in the history room.
Oh, no.
And it went not only through the window in the history room, it went through the sheetrock in the wall on the other side of the history room.
Wow. Lucky
Lucky
to
somebody
get
wasn't sitting in
Yeah.
there.
So, but that has now been repaired. Rick got it right after that.
Did Rick fix it?
I think Rick did,
Oh,
yeah.
great.
Yeah. And that's about it from the Cook Library for this month.
Great. Yeah. Now we get to go to the big event,
Yeah, good timing.
first thing.
If I can find my, here we go. Welcome, Barbara.
Barbara, they just said, welcome.
Welcome.
Morning, afternoon.
It's Carl Bear.
I'm gonna ask you all to sign your name in,
Okay.
so I can put that
Hold
over
on
the
to
record.
the festivities for a second.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I know Barbara's here.
Do you want me to wait for them to sign or should I?
No,
Okay.
it's okay.
I'm going to read a proclamation. Whereas Barbara Nordine was born in Marblehead, Massachusetts on July 1st, 1925. Yeah, okay,
She can't hear it.
Okay.
Louder, please.
I'll try a little louder. Whereas Barbara Nordine was born in Marblehead, Massachusetts on July 1st, 1925. And whereas Barbara Nordine was the second child of Lee and Marie Hildebrand of Marblehead, where she lived during her childhood prior to her marriage to Howard Nordine of Nebraska. And whereas Barbara Nordine and her husband lived in Malvern, Pennsylvania, where they raised their children. And whereas Barbara and Howard Nordine moved to Tamworth in 1988, where they enjoyed their retirement. And whereas Barbara Nordine is hereby recognized with honor and distinction as Tamworth's oldest resident, now therefore be it known by all persons present that the Tamworth Select Board is pleased to present Barbara Nordine with the Boston Post cane in recognition of her elite senior citizen status, given on this 19th day of September 2024. There you are, Barbara. Yes.
Please
Oh,
do.
sure, absolutely. Let's
Say some words.
Hold that
fancy
for me.
short stuff.
Oh, she gotta hold the cane.
Oh, she has to hold the cane.
I'm gonna take a picture with her.
Do you want to lean on that cane? Lean on that one, Barbara? There you go. That's all right, you can have both.
Yeah.
She's used to Howard.
Barbara,
Look at me.
and then once you hold it up.
There you go.
Nice.
Okay, great.
Very good.
Thank you.
Barbara has something she wants to say,
Please do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where would you like me to?
Wherever you want to be.
wherever you feel comfortable. Right there is fine.
Okay. Do you want somebody hold this? I did write a letter acknowledging the fact that you had chosen me to receive the Boston cane. And I gave this a lot of thought because I realized that I have lived a very healthy life and a very active life, and a lot of my good health has come from outdoor activities. And so I wanted to be sure that we acknowledge the fact that so much of these activities are available right here in Tamworth. And it's the same active, healthy lifestyle that I had. So with that, I wanted to say I'm keeping the award in accepting the award of the Boston Cane. I feel it's appropriate also and necessary to recognize and acknowledge the many individuals and organizations and resources in Tamworth that support and enable a healthy lifestyle. And I've listed a few because I've participated in a lot of them also. So I'm starting out with the Tamworth Outing Club, the One Lancet Outdoor Club, the Chicago Lake Conservancy, Tamworth Community Nurse, Meals on Wheels, the Food Pantry, Mug Club, meditation hours at 2 churches, the Breast School Ski Program, the Summer Swim Program, 2 libraries, the Outdoors Farmer Market, and all our local growers. So I don't feel that this is an individual award, but it is a recognition of a lifestyle.
Very good.
Bravo.
Oh, one other thing, because I grew up climbing these mountains. Mount Chikorua, I think the first time I climbed that, I was probably 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
And we've been climbing it right up until I was 80. And skiing. And we have, my family has, my dad built a second home on Iona Lake, so we were privileged to come up here the whole time. Skiing, swimming, climbing, whatever.
Barbara, don't forget your glasses case on the chair in front of you.
Yeah,
You have some other.
Yep, thank you.
yeah, lots of friends came.
We thought it was 6 o'clock.
It
Yeah, I
started
know.
at 5, the meeting was at 5
It-
tonight.
it-
Sorry.
It's okay. We're here now, we caught the tail end.
She has quite a
Right.
posse, as you can see.
Yes,
An
it's
entourage.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you
Give
for
this
those.
back to you?
Those were, no,
Can we get
She actually
a
has to
picture
take it?
of
Yeah.
Whoa, it's kind of heavy, I don't know.
Do I get to keep it?
That's yours.
Wait a minute, that,
For a while.
for the duration,
Does it come back here too?
Yeah,
yes. Great.
we don't want to think about
hey
that.
Barbara, could you picture
Not
me
for a long
with
time.
I'm good.
Yes, let's do that.
All right, I'm skiing now.
Right.
And the whole entourage come in and get behind her for a picture. That's the
Yeah,
biggest
the
group
whole
we've had here
group,
for a while.
yeah.
would be nice.
Yeah.
You can get a big, everybody can come in and get a big group photo.
Okay.
We're easy.
Okay.
Okay.
Get your whole crowd in here.
You all missed my speech.
Maybe you have to be here.
Can I ask you to take?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you fix that.
How about we put her up front?
One second.
Oh, we discussed that. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, okay. Here you go, let me take your phone and I'll get the pictures too.
I must admit, this is part of a healthy life also. Just a lot of good friends.
Yeah.
So we need room behind you, so
Yeah.
maybe you come this way, Barbara.
Oh, in front of the door.
Move up so people get behind me.
Let's just shove the chairs out. Yeah.
Right, we're gonna go there, we go.
Okay, everybody scooch on together.
Scooch in, okay.
Whatever works, whatever works. Okay, this is working.
Yeah.
Great.
We're getting there.
It's good you're short.
What's that?
It's good you're short.
Okay, everybody wants to say Barbara. Healthy living. Don't move.
Keep climbing, hiking.
Let me just get here. Okay, that's about.
Oh,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
I don't know whose these are.
That's mine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Oh, we're doing such good.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
So impressed.
Okay, now we're gonna do a song and dance?
With the cane.
Thank you
Put
all.
on the Ritz.
You can see the original cane is hanging on the wall on the other side of this room.
Okay.
This is a replica.
All right.
Best probably ever had.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much, crowd. for-
Party.
Thank
Party
you for the
time.
celebration.
Hi, you.
Hi, how are you today? Our friend, we found her, you don't all do so well, huh?
Year four.
Amazing. About the population.
Yeah. It was James ran as fast. She's good. All right, we can make a motion.
Yeah, wait till Ed gets back on.
Oh, yeah, public input.
The public has given a lot of it.
All right. No, I've got just a couple more. Is there any public input?
Anybody on, oh, well,
Jim.
Maureen's here, maybe Jim.
Yeah, okay.
I had one question about one of the veterans credits. I think my plan is map 14, lot 114, so I don't know if there's a sub-lot that's showing it there. One of
Map
the veterans-
410, lot 114.
I think that's me, but I couldn't look it up. I don't have a strong
I
enough
will,
signal.
I'll look it up tomorrow.
We're 114.0 and 114.5, I'm pretty sure, but I might be wrong. I texted Jim to see.
Are you want me to do it now, or are you looking?
I mean, I'm not looking at you, looking at. These come, these are self-filled in and I assume they can
Think
check.
Online
This is 410, 114.
I think that's one of our lots. We're 114 and 114.5.
Jim is
Oh,
talking.
what's he saying?
Oh,
Jim is talking.
yes, Jim?
Yeah, I think it's Alex and Kate, or the Cullens. They're 114.3 or something, I can't remember, it's not.
So there's a sublot that needs to be added. Okay,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
probably, maybe they didn't know that.
All right, we will add the
Okay, so
sublot.
you're gonna do that?
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need to redo the vote next meeting then?
I don't think it's probably an issue.
I would have said something during the discussion, but I was hoping that Jim would correct me.
Pipe in, it's all right.
Is there any more public input?
Good on you for knowing your map and sublot. That's
Yeah.
Not many people know that.
I don't know mine.
Hearing none,
I had good teachers, the elves, they taught me well.
I move to adjourn.
Well, whoop-de-doo.
6:05.
At 6:05, thank you.
Is that clock wrong?
Probably.
I go by.
It is wrong, 2 minutes, but I usually change it every couple of weeks, and it's clearly due.
Is the signature,
Do these all the same?
They're right here.
I'll put it back.
Oh, sorry.
You get them all?
I've got
Good night,
these.
Jim. Oh, you're in. Well, that was a fast meeting.
I love
Okay,
Barbara's,
so here's the
I
question.
love Barbara's words.
Yeah.
Do you all get to read the prep emails?
Yes?
Okay.
I do, I wouldn't mind them a day earlier.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, for the most part, most of the stuff I can do data on, there could be an update.
Yep.
You mean on Tuesday instead of Wednesday?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
have hundreds of emails I go through every
Right,
day, and so
right.
Much.
having an
So
extra day to read.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Maureen, thank
Contractor
you.
question, I would love to have known that ahead of.
Okay.
I had no idea